dude, I had this thought. I think it was actually last time I was here. Like I think it would have been last time we did the pods. Because this for people who maybe don't know, we're in Edmonton right now, and this is where Matt lives, and it's where I grew up. I live in Toronto now, so I come back home to do these recordings. So I come back home, and I haven't lived in Edmonton. I mean, I lived in Edmonton 2 summers ago, just for that summer. And then last time I lived in Edmonton was at downtown, 2.5 years ago. But I lived in LA. I went to school in Vancouver, lived in LA, went to Toronto before COVID even. Like I haven't been home much since graduate. So like every time I come home, something new is different. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's a new building up, there's a new whatever every time you come home. I'm starting to realize how old we're getting because all of the bars we went to as kids are all gone now.
Yeah.
And like that's becoming a thing where like the annoying old guy who's like, man, we had you went to Tommy's on fucking White. There used to be Tommy's on White. It was way better than that. Now you got whatever Beercade with your fucking bullshit games.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, bro. Like, sorry.
Like that was a big one for people in Edmonton. Like the ranch. Like whenever I would tell whether like adults, older people, parents that we were going to the ranch, they're like, oh, that was whatever the fuck it was called. They're like, that was the part. Like it once it turned to the ranch, it turned to shit, and that's it. Like.
Yeah.
That bar was the biggest fucking bar for obviously 18 to 22-year-olds for ever.
Years.
Until it shut down. Now it's a different bar, and I bet you...
Now it's Midway.
I bet you we tell all the kids now, oh, the ranch was way better than what it is now.
Well, I fucking hated the ranch. But yes, it's like now I can't imagine like whatever Midway is living up to what the ranch was.
Yeah.
The ranch was like Fight Club... Like that, it was insane at that place. That place was a fucking riot.
Yeah.
And but I thought about this too, like even on White, like dude, remember? Oh my god, dude, do you remember the Strat?
Oh yeah,
the Strat.
The Strat is a legendary spot,
dude. The Strat, for people again that don't know, I'm sure not a majority of our listeners are from Edmonton or know what the fuck we're talking about. The Strat was like the last frontier of like old
school pub.
Old school pub. I'm not even talking old school like we're like, man, like it was a pub for us 21-year-olds. Like it was a pub for like 70-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was straight out of the 70s. It was like green shag carpet
with like carpet throughout. In a bar, carpet throughout.
Carpet in the bar.
Yeah.
Like not carpet at like your local like green puke stained carpet.
Yeah.
Haven't changed the carpet since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
You could fucking smoke inside.
Yeah.
Like dude, there was pool tables that like were stained. Like it was just the beer was like toilet water.
Yeah.
And it was like $3 for a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the grossest beer of all time. But you would just get like you would drink a pitcher straight just by yourself.
Yeah.
For $3.
You'd go up to the bartender and you couldn't buy a pitcher for yourself, so you had to say, "Oh, it's for that table."
Yes.
And then you would take it back to the table, and then you would just drink straight
double,
from the pitcher,
and
the bartender would look at you and just go,
"Come on,
like,
man."
Dude, there's rules, and you're just like,
but dude, it was the same It was the same old lady.
Yeah, that same old lady worked there forever, and she was the only bartender.
And that's what I'm saying. It was like the last place of like.
Yeah,
I would even say like pre-2000s vibes.
Yeah, this is what a bar is supposed to be.
This is what a bar, like a
dive bar. Yeah,
people think a dive bar nowadays is like they play like old music.
Dude. It's like kind of hipstery. And yeah.
This is like there's blood on the walls. There's the beer is out of the toilet.
Yeah,
you could bang a hooker up in the Strathcona
Hotel.
So
Strat is short for Strathcona Hotel, so it's a hotel bar technically.
Yeah.
And so they have the hotel upstairs and yeah,
$40 you can get a bed. You can fucking bang a hooker.
You can get a bed.
The bed is more expensive than the hooker is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that place is gonzo. Done.
Dude, do you remember? Oh my god. Do you remember we were part of the last bar brawl that shut it down?
Mm-hmm.
It was already shutting down, but we were the last weekend bar brawl of it. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that vividly.
That was a wild one.
That was a crazy fucking...
It was me, you...
Reed and Chris. And Blake.
Blake, I think, too, right?
Yeah. The 5 of us.
I don't think Reed was there.
Was it just 4 of us?
Me, you, I think it was me, you, Chris, Blake.
Maybe you're right.
Dude, we were the last bar brawl that of Strat.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we say the last bar brawl because there was a bar brawl there every weekend.
Yeah.
And the reason me and Donnie liked it. Did you ever? I might have got you bar banned one time. Did I? Was there a time where you couldn't scan your ID?
Yeah. only for a little bit. Like I went back to the bar the next weekend, and I was just like,
Squires.
yeah.
No,
I wasn't bar banned. I was only banned from Squires. That's what it was.
Yeah, we got thrown out of Squires.
Well, I got us thrown out of Squires.
Yeah, but then I think you were getting choked out by the bouncer, weren't
Yeah.
you? What happened?
I got fully choked out by the bouncer.
What and what happened?
So this is great. Like let's talk about some old school bars. So Squires was this basement bar that we would go to.
Another
it was-
great bar.
I think we were fresh 18 in Alberta. You can drink when you're 18. And on Thursdays they have 2.25 pints. We're 18. We don't really have a lot of money, so we can get pretty wasted.
Yes.
For $30.
You bring you bring a 20 in there, you're getting tipsy.
You can get pretty fucking drunk. So we got wasted. We got blind drunk, and I think I got a little too drunk, and I was messing with the tip jar, and I knocked a
The
beer
tip
over.
jar, yes, I remember
And so
now.
then the bartender was like, "Hey boys, time to go." And we were like, "Nah, I don't think so. I think we're staying right here actually." And so because of my stature and Connor's stature, they usually go for Connor first. Even though it was me that was more fucked up fucking with drinks and tip jar and shit.
I always get fucking
And so
shafted.
they grabbed the bouncer comes behind because the bartender's like, "Hey, bouncers, get these two fucking schmoes out of here." So the bouncer grabbed Connor from the shoulder and like turned him, and me in my drunk mind look at this fucking massive
6'7" bouncer.
like huge dude, and I like grab his shirt, like because I'm like, fuck this, like you're not grabbing him. And immediately the other bouncer was behind me,
Yeah.
and he just went and just
Snaked you?
like picked me up off my feet, and I was just asleep. Like he choked me out in 5 seconds, and then dragged me to the front door, still choking me. And I don't know what you did at this point.
Because the bouncer that choked you, I started throwing fists over your head, and that's because and then they literally like an old Western saloon threw us out.
Yeah,
because I remember
like
I
came
thrown-
to like on the steps of the bar. I was like, "Fuck those guys!"
Yeah,
and
dude.
you're just like, "Are you good?" And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
because
"Whoa."
they started choking you out. I remember you looked at me with a look of panic.
Oh, yeah.
and so I over the top of your head was
here.
throwing punches. And I'm I would, like you said, taller guy. It's not very often I'm like throwing them up.
Yeah.
like, like throwing.
And there was two bouncers, and they were big.
And then
dudes.
they fucked us up.
yeah,
Fucked us up and threw us out. Yeah, but the Strat, that one I remember it was like we were playing pool.
there was another group playing pool right next to us. There's 2 pool tables.
Yeah, 2 pool tables, another group, and it's shaped like a hallway. So you go in one side of the hallway,
And
pool
that's-
tables are at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
So once you're in the pool table area, you can't you're trapped back there.
Yeah, you go in 2 pool tables.
Yeah.
We're over here. They're here.
Yeah.
And now we own the whole back side of the bar, basically.
Correct. Yeah.
And same thing. We got wasted. We're kind of being morons. They didn't really like it, and we also thought it was hilarious to make them mad because they're like,
I remember that.
fucking grow up, guys. Like, don't do that shit.
We were smashing pool cues over our backs, I think, right? Yeah. I remember that.
I think that's what we were doing. We were breaking pool cues over each other's backs,
Yeah.
and they
They didn't like it.
rightfully so. They said, "Grow up, guys. Come on." And now Strat was our bar. We could do anything in that.
So we
were like, "Shut the fuck up." Well,
Yeah.
if we want to break pool cues over each other's backs,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And
I've spent $100 at this bar in my lifetime. I can do whatever the fuck I
yeah,
want.
and they really didn't like that we were talking back to them.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how it kicked off after that. Like it was a long build up. It took a while.
Well, one of them threw beer in my face, remember? Because I think I was kind of like egging this one person on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I wasn't like chirping, but I was like,
I think you were just like you
I was
were just
being
like
like a smart ass.
looking and just kind of smiling, and they hate and that drove,
of course,
that
very hateable face.
yeah, that drove them nuts.
That drove him nuts. But then remember, she threw the beer
the
in
girl
my face,
did, yeah.
and I paused for a sec. I wouldn't hit the girl, but she was with like 4 dudes, and then I was like, what the fuck? And I remember the pool table has the pot lights over it. Remember this? Mm-hmm. So I was on one side of the pool table there, and the other dudes were on the other. So the one pool table was in between us, and because I went up to that side of the pool table, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And the light is in between us, over top of the pool table, and it was like one of those the lampshade is the wrong word for it, but like the casing is like metal.
Yeah.
And the light bulb inside, and I smashed it at him because they were like swinging, so I
you could
smashed
push
it, smashed it at him, and then the light bulb blew up and then it just kicked off like
Yeah.
that. And then I got boot fucked in the face. I was getting held down by two. One big dude is strong as fuck.
Yeah.
One big dude hit me in the face, and then like I could see his 2 feet, and they left, and I was like, "Where's his feet go?" And then 2 new feet came in, and just one boot right to the nose.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then cops came in and broke it up, and we slithered out of there.
I remember. Yeah, you had 2 guys on you. I grabbed the guy that was like my size.
Yeah, you had the one,
And me and him, like, he didn't want to hit me, and I was waiting for him to hit me so I could start punching back. But he just like kept pushing me.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of did this shoving match, and then he's like, just fucking don't do anything. And I'm like, all right, I guess whatever.
Yeah.
We have each other. These guys are fighting. But
Yeah.
then I saw 2 guys on you, so then I was trying to like rip
Yeah,
one
yeah,
off.
Yeah.
And the 2 girls. The 2 girls started fighting Blake.
Dude, I remember that.
So like Blake
I
didn't.
forgot about that till now.
I don't think Blake had a guy to fight because Chris was there. So I think
Chris
he
was fighting a guy.
and the 2 girls just started.
And Blake, by the way, is our friend who's like a small, like he's a smaller, like he would always kind of get like chirped for being the small kid.
Yeah,
You know, and so now he's the one fighting 2 chicks.
like the two girls just. I don't even know. Like I don't know if he said something or did something, but they just went after him, and yeah, they pinned him in the corner. The 2 of them are slapping him, punching him, and he's obviously not going to punch back. So he's like sitting there, just like blocking his face.
He's
like,
getting the shit kicked out of him by 2 chicks.
And dude, it happened in perfect timing. So obviously now the whole bar is watching it because it's just like it's like a minute, 2 minutes long of just like
It's this whole bar brawl. Yeah,
it's a full on saloon brawl. Like we're going at it, and then finally all the cops rush in. Us 4 stand up, walk out. The 4 guys we were fighting
Get
get
arrested.
tased, they get pepper sprayed, arrested. We just like slink out the door and
Done.
made off like bandits.
And then we lost Chris. I think me, you, and Blake went to the bar.
Yep.
Chris meets up with us like half an hour later. He's like, "Guys, what the fuck?" We're like, "What happened to you?" He's like, "I ran into one of them in the back alley. He fucked me up again.
Jumped me in the alley.
You're like, "Ah, it sucks, dude."
Ah, shit, my bad.
That's hilarious. Oh man, yeah, but that's what makes me feel old, dude. Is that like, you're getting to like your late 20s. You're like, all right, I'm not, this is fucking
Not a bar star anymore.
I'm not going to the fucking clubs. I'm old.
Yeah.
Like even like you're like I'm glad I'm out of that. I'm like
Yeah.
I'm glad, but I'm realizing I'm old. Like getting to the point of like talking to the young generation, like being the annoying guy, like. You guys don't understand what kind of bars. Like I'm getting to be that guy
Yeah.
because now all the bars I went to are all gone.
Well, and what sucks is COVID played a big part in that. Like COVID happened,
yeah.
half of White Ave shut down.
Yeah.
Like they had to because they relied on like a weekend by weekend basis of like keeping the lights on.
Well, and in Edmonton too, there's not enough population of like going out people to sustain like Monday to Thursday nights.
Yeah, no.
So you
it's
need
just
Friday,
the weekends.
Saturday.
It's just the weekends.
Especially with the weather too. Like winter comes,
and it's
people go out
like they don't
less.
serve food at these places. Like it's just booze sales. That's all they do.
Fucking 80% of your income comes from weekends during the summer. That's pretty much what it is.
And it was shut down for basically 2 summers in a row.
Yeah, no, that's what made me realize that like we're a couple years away from being like the people that are like, man, you kids don't know what it was like
Yeah,
because
this is a bar.
Every bar we went to is gone now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like even fucking restaurants and like pubs, diners, everything, it's all fucking gone. It's all switched. It all turns over. Oh, and I remember at the ranch, because I remember the bar ban at the ranch. I remember because there was the reason I liked the Strat is because they didn't scan IDs, and me and Donnie and stuff were bar banned for so long.
Yeah.
And the one at the ranch, I don't know if I ever told you this, dude. When Blake got us into a massive brawl at the ranch, because Blake would do this thing where he would order a drink, and the second the bartender turned around, he would reach over the bar and grab a 2-6, a bottle, and put it in his pants.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah, exactly. And dude, this guy got me, Donnie, Cam, and Blake himself into like the thing the ranch did is they paid their bouncers cash, and they said, we're gonna pay you cash so that if you need to fuck the kids up, you do it, and we never knew you.
Yeah.
Like you can do it. People liked it because they were like, the ranch said you can do whatever you want. You can fuck this kid up, and you just never come back here. You get paid cash.
Yeah, and you're gone.
See you later. So we get in like a full on parking lot brawl with these like 5 bouncers, and we just took this absolute fucking war on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say that because that one kid died at the ranch. Did you hear about that?
The kid that froze to death?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they kicked him out and because he was wasted or whatever, and they just like threw him in a ditch, Didn't call him a cab, didn't find him a
No,
friend, and just
no.
fucking left him.
Yeah, that was dark.
That's fucked up.
That was
That
dark.
I think that was part of the reason
He was
why
in a
the
fucking
ranch,
he was in a t-shirt and they kicked him out, threw him on the fucking street.
like a wasted kid,
Yeah.
and they just left him. And I think that was part of the reason why the ranch shut down, because
That
was a lot of bad
Well, there was a
publicity.
couple things. I mean, that was the biggest one, but there was a couple things of like, it was starting to be like,
they weren't.
like it seemed like the legal troubles were encroaching on that.
I
place.
bet you they had a bunch of lawsuits, and they're like, let's just
Yeah,
fucking
they're
sell.
like we just got to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of bouncers, the amount of times I've seen a kid get fucked up by a bouncer. They're
Yeah.
like not fucked up, like roughed up, like when people are like
They'd beat up
I
kids.
seen a kid get beat up the other day. It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You did not see. I mean, like beat up, like
bloodied.
unanswered punches to the fucking nose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Back when bouncers were bouncers.
Back when bouncers were bouncers.